Hey, K-Rock, Mid-Atlantic Rock V's Marmy Rock Show. I'm here with Crispin from the band The Veer Union. We are in Waynesboro, Pennsylvania tonight. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me, man.
So, hey, we are in round 2 of the Live and Loud tour. Looks like you've got another big tour coming up right after this. So why don't you kind of reflect back on this tour a little bit and tell us what you guys got coming up next?
Yeah, I mean, so far it's been an amazing tour. The guys from Artifice, Bridge to Grace, and Bobaflex, we've known kind of all of them in passing. We played kind of, a show or two, but this is the first time we played with all the bands, and all the bands, just amazing guys, amazing players. The only thing that's been kind of crappy about this tour is so far is our drive shaft falling off of our bus and taking out the muffler system, and
that was today, wasn't it?
And actually, it was yesterday, but we had to rent a Ford Explorer because it was the only vehicle. So we went from being in a bus and a trailer to a Ford Explorer that seats. The only thing that we could even get in our in the Ford Explorer was 2 guitars. So we're lucky enough that the guys from Artifice were nice enough to let us use their gear to complete the tour. So,
and we're lucky as fans that you guys came out. You guys could have canceled, but we really appreciate that you made the trek out and all the efforts you went through. So, hey, speaking of some of the cool stuff on this tour, you guys got some VIP bundles out there. Yeah. Tell folks if they can still get them and what they get for those.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of different types of bundles you can get, but with every bundle, essentially, we kind of figure if you're going to support the band and actually buy the music, we're like, we'd like to give you a free show. So essentially, anybody that goes and gets a VIP package will get into the rock show for free, as well as we have what's called the acoustic experience. So you can come on the bus, hang out with us. We play you a couple of songs acoustically. Nice. Granted, that is going to be put on pause for about 5 days until we get our bus back. But so we have a bunch of different bundles. So go to theveerunion.com and you can check out all the different bundles we have available there.
So, I mentioned to folks you were from Vancouver, and are there different challenges being a Canadian band touring in the U.S.? Does it present some challenges that people might not realize?
Well, yes, there is. I mean, from a business standpoint, a lot of people don't realize just how expensive it is just for us to be able to even get a work visa, to be able to cross the border, and then once you have a work visa, then well, again, this is very business, but most people don't know this, but just based on the fact on us being Canadian, the IRS demands that they have to have 30% of our gross revenue off the top of everything that we make. So, and our work visa is $6,000 before we even step into that. So it goes on and on. So let me tell you, when you're paying all those things and then your bus breaks down, that's when you're kind of going, oh, can something please go right? But we're lucky enough that the tour has been awesome, and we're going on to Saving Abel and Smile Empty Soul right after this. So that's going to be another great tour, I think.
I'm glad you put an X. A lot of people don't realize that. I've had a ton of Swedish bands on the show, and they always talk about how hard it is. And I think people need to kind of pressure our government a little bit. I don't want to get political here, but let's make it easier just so we can hear some rock and roll. Because we all know, God knows, you guys ain't cleaning up down here. So, no matter who you are. Hey, so the new album's called Decade. Now, does that title reflect some kind of a milestone for the band?
Absolutely. Actually, our first album called Time to Break the Spell came out in 2006. 2016 is the brand new album. So there's a span of 10 years exactly this year. So it's a really special year, and we put a lot of hard work and energy into Decade, and there's 5 songs that were actually originally written before the first incarnation of the Veer Union. About the same time I had written Seasons, before we were even a band. But there was a whole album that I shelved that I didn't even have a chance to come out. I took 5 of those songs from that beginning of the nucleus of the Veer Union, and then 5 brand new songs that I had written between 2015 and 2016, and came out with Decade.
So what I want to ask you about is Defying Gravity. It's probably in the CD player right now, and we were listening to that today. Does that describe? It seems to me like it's describing some kind of a battle or a fight. Can you talk a little bit about that song?
Yeah, definitely. It is. I would definitely say it's a personal struggle. I mean, it's a tough world, let alone a tough business that we're in. And for me, it's a very personal song. It's really kind of about my struggles, just trying to continue to live my dream. I feel like the first lyric is, "I've been 6 feet underground, fighting to be found," and that it just signifies basically my battle, just trying to remain where I want to be. We're just continuing to do music for the love of music, but at the end of the day, you can't do it for free, and so that's even though there's been so many struggles, I just kind of feel like everything is starting to kind of level out, and I feel like we're going to be defying gravity, and it's an impossible mission, but it will come as long as we keep believing in what we're doing.
So I always marvel at the quote glamorous tour life, and like all the struggles you've been going through today. But you've been out with, it seems like, bands I know that are good guys, Artifice and Bobaflex recently. Any kind of cool tour pranking going on? Any pranks going on stage, or any fun story? Now, mind you, we're a PG-13 show when I ask you that question.
Well, that being said, there's not a lot that I can really say at this time, but I can tell you, yes, there has been some pranks, and when everybody is of age, they will find out all about them when they go on YouTube. Okay, moving right along.
So, hey, I saw something cool. You guys got a full spread in Revolver magazine.
Yeah.
How'd that go down?
Yeah.
Was it just luck? Did you guys know about it in advance, or you just opened the magazine one day and there it is?
It was a bit of both. We got a call from our label saying, "Hey, I think Revolver's going to do a big spread on you guys," and we're like, "Cool, it'd be cool when we see it." And then one day, all of a sudden, it was there. So it was a very cool thing that to have that happen for sure.
Now, have you guys? I don't know this about you. Have you toured Europe or other countries before, other than Canada and the U.S.?
No, this is actually the first. This is the first year we're actually seriously. We've been talking about it for years, and we've been bugging our manager to try and organize something to get over there. And this might be the first year that it's actually going to be brought to fruition. So we're excited that definitely about going over to Europe, and we're developing some fans over there. And so this might be the first time we can finally get over there. Decade would be a decade of being a band, and then finally getting over to Europe. So we're excited about that.
I'd love to see you on one of the cruises too, man. I just throw it out there. I'm sure you guys would love to do it too.
Absolutely.
But, I'm wearing my Shiprock shirt right here, and love to see you boys on that.
For sure.
So, hey man, tell me a little bit about the Roman numeral clock, if there's something to it, because I noticed in the one video that I was watching, Seasons, it's got the Roman numeral clock, and then it's in the cover of the eye. So, am I reading anything into it, or is there actually a symbolism to it?
There's a little bit of symbolism. For the most part, I think that when we're younger and we're as kids, you're growing up and you don't think anything of time, and you don't realize how precious time is, and the older I get, the more I realize, wow, every day that goes by is a gift, and
so true.
For me, time it's especially when I look back and I went, wow, it's been a decade. I've been doing this, struggling to stay in the music industry and to continue making music in a place where it's a difficult place to make music in these days. But I love doing it, and as long as I have the time to be able to, as long as that gift is continuously given to me, as long as I can do it, I want to do it. And that's really basically what the Roman numerals stand for me.
One of the things I like about your band are the harmonies in your vocals, and I listen to a song like Watch You Lose and the kind of musical stylings you do. Is that a reflection on the musical roots of anybody in the band? Like, I interview bands all the time, and some people come from metal, some people come from all kinds of different musical backgrounds. Does that come out of something in anybody's musical background?
Harmonies has always been one of my favorite things in music from the very beginning. I started, my roots came from singing in, 4 or 5 part choir, and so I learned a lot about harmony just from the roots from my schooling. And then I got into bands like Alice in Chains, but I was also into R&B, and I was also into metal. So all of these things kind of just gravitated towards, but that's one thing that's never stripped away from me. To me, the harmony is such a major part of a great track.
So when you were saying, it's funny, so did you sing in like a high school choir when you were?
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Looking back, is there one song that you're just like, oh boy, I hated singing that song? Can you like remember to this day?
I wouldn't say there's one. I would say there's probably 20. But that was part of my training, to be able to listen to a song that you didn't necessarily love, but be able to, deliver on it. And I definitely learned a lot from my teachers back in the day.
Well, the album's called Decade. The band is the Veer Union. They're from Vancouver, British Columbia. And remember, there's still VIP bundles available if you're going to their shows. There's a few dates left on this tour. Are the bundles going to be available through the Saving Abel tour as well?
Absolutely.
So you can pick them up on that whole tour as well. So, Crispin, thanks a lot for being on the Marmy Rock Show tonight.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.